I don't know whose turn it is.
Who did it last time?
It's Emma did it last time.
I'll do it. I don't mind
George,
doing
Okay.
it.
You got it?
I feel
Okay.
like I haven't. I feel like I haven't done it for a while.
If Emma did it last time, then George, you're up in the order. Timing.
Yep.
Was last session 144? Is this 145?
No, the last session was 145.
Damn, I did not make
Was
notes. Right,
Do you want me to take it?
maybe
I've got-
then.
Okay.
If you've got notes ready, because otherwise I'll just. I mean, to be fair, there wasn't like a huge amount that went down, so I think I could probably do it because it was just we were waiting for we were on the ice and then. Yeah, cool. I think I could do it.
Seems fucking nice.
Are we recording yet?
I am.
Oh, hi.
Hello, recording.
So yes, Emma, do you need to do any of your normal stuff, or do we
Are you
go straight to
recording?
it?
Or are we on Twitch?
Oh, okay.
Okay, then no.
Oh, right.
If
This
we're
is
not
a
on
great.
Twitch,
This is a
then-
great start to the recording, guys. So last week, we entered the mists to start the trial, and we managed to all stick together, but unfortunately, not one of the Tirage. It was the Tirage that didn't manage to make it through. Yeah, unfortunately, we lost one of the lesbians, and we all felt the loss. So then we all ended up on this massive ice plane. And we all sort of stood awkwardly in three groups, sort of looking at each other, being like, who's going to go first? What's happening? Then Alabek, Greasy Man, just was like, I know what I'm doing. Clearly had some information that we didn't and decided he was just walking. So he went ahead. But we were sort of stuck and we didn't quite know what to do. So we decided that we would try and share our wisdom with the groups so that we could all get further ahead rather than all being sort of stuck with nowhere to go. There was varying degrees of success when it came to sharing the information. So we had Cass, Neff, and Lucas go to the lesbians. They seemed to sort of reach sort of kind of we might share information if it's beneficial for everyone, but it seemed potential but not a definite. And then Bluey and Slia went to speak to Alabek about sharing information. For example, like, what token did you have? This is the token we have. Let's work together. Didn't go as well, I don't think. I think it was very much sort of I'm not sure I want to give any information. Alabek was not interested at all in this, so kept walking. And then all of a sudden, kaboom! The whole ice sheet that we're happily stood on falls. Comes a massive bowl. There's varying degrees of everyone falling to their deaths, but thankfully, because of magic carpets, cool lesbians, Shoe catching greasy men, and other levitations and all sorts, everyone manages to not fall to their deaths and get crushed by ice sheets. And the session ends with us all landing safely on what looks suspiciously like a ring at the bottom where it's like, time for some fighting. And I think that's pretty much everything that went down. Is there anything I'm missing?
I think you've pretty much hit them up. Is there anything anybody wants to add before we complete? I did a commune with nature.
Yeah, Brian did a communal nature, so he realised a split second before the ice sheet fell, and he was like, no! Because of that, Loran could cast Featherfall, and he also could sense some structures. Yeah.
Also, because of your commune with nature, you have a fairly strong idea of the layout of this land. But as I said before, this land does not follow any rules of the material plane. It does not have a horizon line. We don't know exactly what it is. There is a distortion here, which is not present, in the natural world or the world you know. And because of that, you have no idea really how to gauge distance. Okay. But you do feel, you felt the basin, and you do feel these like glaciers and underground caverns beneath the ice. You feel bodies of water. You feel like mountains buried beneath sheets of ice. made of what you do not quite know.
Okay.
All of that lies ahead of you.
I say spooky.
Nasha says, this kind of looks like an arena. All stare from the sidelines.
Spooky.
So,
can we check on everybody, make sure everybody's okay?
Perfect. So I think some of you did take a little bit of damage, but not a lot. You guys were pretty well. You survived fairly well.
Raz is really screaming.
You can almost hear it just a little bit. That was so cute. Oh my gosh.
Perfectly over your chair as well. It was like a, oh, me? I'm ready to join.
He's so ready to join. So, instead, you have this intrinsic connection with Shu. And you can see Shu, as Nasha says, what she says about this looking like an arena. Shu kind of bristles slightly and just kind of starts stalking around the group. Just like what from side to side, just making sure you get the feeling she's sort of asserting her dominance here. Or trying to.
Hell yeah, Shu.
Hell yeah. Now, Alabek and his team are much further away. They are, well, Slia, you would no longer be along with them, would you? You kind of move back to your main group?
Yeah.
Okay. And Bluey too?
Yeah, I think if they seem alright, then I'd want to go back to, Brian and
we have cookies.
Name. Oh my God.
So if you guys are pleased to, you can make your way back towards Allstairs group. Bluey, in the moment of sort of hesitation, you would notice that in the sort of like avalanche slide, sort of like partially scaling rope escape that Alabek's team made, some of his stuff has fallen on the floor and he's sort of scrambling to pick it up.
Oh. Does it look like there's the basin among it?
When you say basin, do you mean the vessel that he was given?
Oh, sorry. Vessel, yeah,
it's like
sorry.
a bowl with the covering on the top.
A big salad bowl.
A big, whatever is in there, he's hiding from. But that has, that seems like it's falling off of his leg at the moment, and he hasn't quite noticed it. Oh, Anna.
Oh, Anna's frozen.
Oh no.
Oh, Anna. Okay, well, we'll get to that in a second. Slia, make me a medicine check just to see the levels of the other group, see how they are.
Okay. Let's see. What's my very easy maths. 24.
Yeah, of course. 24. You can tell that Nasha's team is a little more banged up. They do seem to have a healer amongst them, though. One of the lesbians is moving around and tending to the wounds of the others. Yeah, that's kind of what you...
Okay. If anybody looks like they're too injured, she might try to assist. That's all.
Could I insight check Nasha when she says this looks like an arena?
You may, yes.
28.
28, okay.
Ooh.
So...
you know her soul, her very soul.
You know her very, very
She just looks over and also like...
Nasha, when she says that, she kind of looks around the other groups for a moment as though kind of sizing them up. And then looks back to her own group and shrugs. I think then you notice she starts to kind of pace the perimeter. Her group is sort of following suit. It seems that whatever is going to happen here, if there is something is going to happen, it's a little bit of time before it does. At least if she's going to initiate anything, it's going to be not until she's finished making a check of perimeter.
Okay. I think also will just say, slightly louder than his usual voice, I think it would be a bad idea to initiate combat, considering I think that was just the first trial.
Okay, make me a performance check.
I have this thing right here. Performance.
I was playing
15.
15. It carries, but hang on, I should. The wind is quite strong.
He'll say it when she's kind of like nearish.
Sure.
He knows he doesn't have a loud voice.
Yeah. And kind of realizing you're having a little bit of trouble, Lucas is like, yes, no, I don't want to fight anyone or anything. Peace on earth.
Peace on earth is a bit of a wide stretch, but
Peace in the Messiah.
yes.
Nasha hasn't got a response. You're looking for one.
Okay. It's really
would
good to be a monarch who can talk to other people.
Is roll a perception or like an investigation to see if the idea is not that we fight each other, but that there's going to be some beasties that make their way out that we might have to fight, or if like that, or if I could pick up something like that. Investigation or perception? What do you think?
I think you're looking at actually, either will give you different answers. So if you want, you pick which one you want, and then I'll tell you.
I feel like I'll have investigation. I feel like Cass is going to be like looking around, looking at the ice, looking at if there's caves leading onto this arena.
Yeah.
That is a dirty 20.
Okay. So you kind of have to sort of actually follow Nasha and her team to get the best kind of look. No.
Says?
Yeah. You kind of have to follow Nasha and her team in order to get the best kind of reading on the situation. As they are sort of following the perimeter of the arena. The floor of the arena itself is no longer churning ice. It is a smooth, sort of ice surface with like enough snow to give you grip beneath your feet. Quite well packed down. There are only a few places where you can see it's really, really slippery, and you can avoid those fairly easily. But the ice there is so dense you can't see anything down, so you don't get any kind of knowledge there. But following Nasha and her team, she is kind of giving you a bit of a tip-off. And you notice that she does pause at some sort of like ridges in the ice where the basin isn't quite a smooth circle. It is natural. It's naturally kind of hewn, kind of like a crater. So it's not like perfectly smooth all the way around. But there are places where it does dip back and forth, far less than others. And in one of the more sort of like deeper recedings, you see Nasha kind of come out and beckon her team. You can follow her in. Is anybody else going to go with Cass, seeing her? Because she's moving quite far in the group now.
I'll go with Cass.
Okay. Ulster, I think you follow Cass here. And when you go in here, you sort of see there are grooves on the walls. Grooves which kind of carry on higher and higher and higher, like kind of like lines on a tree almost. But you look up close to them, and you can tell these markings are interesting. They are natural, but they don't follow, like they are natural as in they've just been made by the ice, but they do not follow the same pattern as the rest.
Nature check.
Nature check.
Can I do an Arcana check?
14.
Yeah. 14. With a 14, you kind of squinted it, and it looks kind of like a stroke, like a character stroke, almost.
Does it resemble any language?
If it does, what's your passive perception again?
20.
20. You get the impression it's too large for you to read it from this close up.
I need a larger person. He tells back.
Cass looks to Saraza.
So I think, right,
Bluey.
Ulster, you turn around and you say, I'm just going to give this to you because, oh my god. You turn around and you say, I need a larger person, at which point you see Alabek across the other side of the arena, standing at a perfect angle, looking at it like this, and moving sort of slowly forwards and backwards as if trying to get perspective on what it is.
Yeah, he says, I need a larger person. He looks at Alabek. To do that.
Did Brian hit his head?
Ulster's intelligence is high, but it's not that high.
I think Moran
It's just like,
is like, I'm definitely doing the room.
Ulster's really smart in his special interest. Anything else is like what?
I got a 23 on the Arcana, by the way.
Okay. I think the Arcana's not going to give you much more, but I will say you can tell this is a magical. This is based in magic, runology. Whatever the style of stroke is, it reminds you of that.
Does comprehend languages, that might be beneficial.
Sure. That's a ritual, so it takes 10
it's a
minutes.
ritual.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you just see Cass realise that and then just sit down and be like,
oh.
I'm going to go over to the larger people and see what they see.
So you go over to Bluey. Saraza kind of like puts his hand up and just says, I think also it needs us to look at something from a distance.
Okay. I think Bluey was a bit enthralled with what the hell was happening with Alabek and the thing that he was like fumbling with. I missed the part where he's like,
right, let's resolve that because you would be right next to Alabek anyway, so you'd be perfect to do this. So
okay.
Bluey, going slightly back in time, you see Alabek is struggling to kind of gather all of his things. His team are sort of readjusting their packs. Whilst everybody else is taking this time to sort of investigate and plan with the trial, Alabek is taking this time to make sure he's prepared for whatever is coming.
Do you need any help, Alabek?
Just one. Alabek looks over his shoulder at you and scowls and says, "You're trying to steal from me?"
No.
Make a persuasion check, please.
God. I tried to say that in the straightest possible face myself. Persuasion?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Oh god, that's a 5. Alright. Alright.
He kind of narrows his eyes and says, "If I need help, I'll ask for it."
Okay.
Okay, you're...
Sorry,
you're going to leave it there?
So this is before Brian's called out, we need tall people? Or something?
Yeah, so I think that interaction would happen first, and if you do not assist him, eventually, once he's picked up everything, you hear just like a thump as the basin falls on the floor. Make me a perception check. I'm going to call it the basin because I like that word.
Alright. That's an unnatural 20.
Okay. Bluey, I'm going to send you a message.
Okay.
secret DM messages.
If I wanted to. Could peer over.
No.
You're sneaky devil.
Baz is screaming.
Is he?
So spoiled.
Little boy.
He's got everything he could want up there, and he's still like, no, I want to be with you.
Yeah.
Not like I didn't sleep the past 9 hours on your chest. I knew to be near you.
Yeah. Y'all are his
Okay,
person.
Anna, you've got a Facebook message.
Mm-hmm. Oh. No. Okay. I mean, it's a lot of kind of action in that moment, but am I allowed to say what I saw? Okay.
If you wish to reveal that to the
Okay.
group, you can. But it is at this point when Alabek moves over and stops and looks up at the wall where Nasha is and squints at it and starts kind of like moving forwards and backwards, trying to kind of make sense of something. He traces an arcane symbol in the air and places his hands over his eyes.
This is. I have an idea. Because this is now being referred to as basin, because I was like, oh, basin. I'm thinking basin.
Yeah,
and also,
fine.
the place that we're in looks a bit like a basin. So even though, I don't know, can Bluey think and see if there's a connection there?
Yeah, sure.
Basin? Little basin? Big basin? What's my intelligence again? It's not negative. Isn't it? Where is it? Oh, just a general intelligence.
Yes.
That's a 5.
5. It's hard to say. Really hard to say. It could be either or.
Okay. All right. She'll tuck that thought away, and then turn her attention to whatever the heck he's doing now with magic runes and like.
Okay. At which point, Allstare says,
I need larger people.
And Sarah kind of goes over to join you, Bluey. And you look up at the wall. You can't really see anything. But Alabek is definitely looking at something.
You sure you need taller people? I'm not sure I can see.
Okay.
What
Also,
I should be seeing.
To where the tall people are, and can I have a look?
You may, yes. So make me a perception, please.
22.
22. Okay. You kind of have a look at it and you kind of squint. It's really hard to see what it is that Alabek is looking at. But just because you have a natural perception, I think you can kind of read the landscape. And with your commune with nature active currently, you feel almost the shape that is carved into the wall. And it appears to be a druidic rune on an enormous scale.
What does it say?
It appears to say Constitution.
Cool. I turn around like this and I start looking at everyone. I'm like, Levan, no.
What is
will point at Bluey, Sarza, and Cass and beckon them forwards.
Has 10 minutes passed?
I would say you're just about there when you kind of get up.
Okay.
Yeah, so you would be able to.
I'm like, okay, now good.
Is Brian directing us towards the runes?
Yeah, he's bringing you over to him.
Right, okay.
And then he's going to hop over and whisper in each of your ears what the rune says.
Like not a lightweight with drinking sort of thing?
Oh no, I think that's what the test is going to be. And then he's going to hop over to the people who are less constituted and give them a pat on the head.
So, sorry, my internet cut out. So you know what the runes say then, Brian?
Also would have told you what the rune says, yeah.
And what does it say? You cut out just as...
Constitution.
Right.
He's summoned together the people he thinks are tough.
Blue's got
Cass is like-
16.
Yeah, Cass's constitution is not as high as Bluey's, but it's still I've got pluses in it, so it's not
Yeah.
complete.
Ulster's is Constitution is +2, so it's not terrible.
Lucas says,
It's the same as Cass's.
He's letting Lucas do his own thing because he doesn't want to instruct Lucas as his kind of.
sure. I think Lucas would still be with you.
He'll still tell Lucas what it says.
And Lucas says, what do you think this means for us and our team?
Well, it'll be a test of that skill, wouldn't it be?
I suppose.
So it could be
Constitution
poison.
is a strange one.
Cass, now that she can read the runes or has comprehend languages, I don't know if that extends to runes. I think she might sort of be like, may I have another look at the goblet? But like, hush hush, we don't want to show others unless they're sharing. But like, if it's constitution, it could be something to do with poison / drinking, which may or may not lead. If there's a goblet, do you know what
Yeah.
I never know.
Also, the comprehend languages, if you touch the writing, then you can understand it.
Okay. There was writing on the goblet, wasn't there?
On the goblet had like runes and like inscriptions on it. Yes, there was.
Could I do that to the goblet? Because I don't think I really looked at the goblet when we.
When you touch
like-
the edge of the goblet.
This is all being hidden from the other teams.
Sure, you guys make me all stealth checks then.
I don't want them to be copying our work.
18.
Stealth is not my best. I need a big person to block me.
Oh,
Sleia and Sleia, Bluey, and Sarah's are just kind of arc around Cass.
I also got a 15, so it wasn't terrible.
No.
If I got an 18 for stealth, could I potentially use that as a diversion as I walk away from Cass?
It's going to be a group check.
Okay.
do
You
we
want all of us then?
Yeah.
And so for the rest of us, is it like acting casual or something?
Yeah.
Act natural.
Right.
Casual, guys.
16.
No.
No?
Dirty
Oh,
20.
we do it at disadvantage. Okay, with my armor on, am I rolling this at disadvantage? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not. It's not to be quiet. Is it?
Mm,
Or is it to be
okay,
quiet?
in this specific instance, no.
Okay, it's still 10. I rolled a 5 yet again.
Sleia?
3 5s.
Sorry, 16.
Kiki. 9 plus 1. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Divided by this is a big team.
8.
9.
9 people.
Wow.
Lucas, Lorraine, and Sarah are on top of everyone. I'm one of the people.
Yes.
8 people. Excellent. That is fine.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I'm one of those people. So,
Oh, I
You
do feel like we
guys-
passed that group check.
you guys gather around together, and Cass, you touch the edge of the goblet as Lucas kind of produces it. It is a bit strange. Now, you feel like fundamentally, because of that, I'm going to carry that Arcana check a little. This does belong to this place. But it doesn't seem to have a direct link to this, if that's what you're looking for. When you touch the edge of the kind of like cup and you kind of feel the language, you feel your mind kind of like bending almost around the words, kind of like they're intolerable to your mind.
Ugh.
Yeah. And the only thing I'm going to give you is it feels a bit like this is a kind of like the closest thing you can link it to is like a poem or a holy scripture.
Right.
But it doesn't seem to necessarily link with this trial. Whether or not that means you can use it is different.
Cass has a slight if you said like kind of like a scripture or a poem, Cass has a theory that you need all of them because they've all got runes on them, and so you'll need to say the entire piece, like poem, at the end. So she's gonna relay that information. Hush. I think like it's a poem, and at the end we're gonna have to like say it. I don't think we need to say it right now, but I basically think we need to eye up the other team's stuff and maybe take it at one point.
Sure.
Ulster just looks back and says, "We're not going to take anything. We're going to hopefully work together."
Lion's like,
yeah,
is
with Nasha that might be possible, but Greaseball? I'm not so sure.
I'm sure he can be convinced. Anyway. I was going over to Laurent to ask for his ideas because he's the smartest member of the party.
I think it sounds fair that it could be something to do with drinking. I think that perhaps once we choose someone to lead us into this trial, then the path will become apparent.
We need to choose a leader.
I think so.
Follow the leader,
Right.
leader, follow the leader. I just imagine us all going behind like Bluey, like.
Louis or
Whoever's got the highest con, it's 16.
Yeah, who has got the highest con? Is it Bluey or Sarrazin might have a high con?
Are we allowed to know if Sarah has a high con?
How constituted are you, Saz?
Where is it sheet?
Yes, Sarah, how constituted are you?
What can those cakes take?
I don't know where my folder is with my characters. I thought Sarah was on here. I'm going to say then, Sarah looks to Bluey and just says, somehow I feel like you would be best suited.
Okay.
What's Bluey's con then?
Bluey, what is your constitution score?
16.
16.
So plus 3.
Plus 3. Okay.
With saving throw, she has a plus 8.
Oh, that's good. Is there no one with higher than that?
I don't think so.
Sarah's would probably be the same.
Okay.
Laurent says, I mean, I can cast something to help you in that room. And give you a temporary bonus, but it will make you very tired.
No. I think, Salios has granted me a few. Oh, no, wait, hang on. Is that a fighter ability or is that from Salios? The like reroll saving throw. How many
The
times?
Indomitable 3 times a day.
Twice
yeah,
for
that
me.
is more fighter, but you kind of have, that a lot of your gifts are kind of like through your own steam, but also, with Asalios's mentorship. So, and you have that cool sword.
I mean, is okay. Are other people hearing this discussion? I don't like.
We're hearing this quite. In my head, we're whispering.
I mean, does it look like every group is meant to offer someone who's
the other groups, and it's about this point where you notice that Nasha is standing separate from the rest of the team.
okay,
And the others have kind of moved away to kind of like stand at the back of, like against the ice wall, and she's standing as if she's waiting.
I think Bluey might sort of like slowly approach her and be like, do you know what it says?
She looks at you. Yeah, I do. You.
I think we think so.
She kind of laughs. I wonder who they're going to choose. You look over to Alabek's team, kind of following her gaze.
They don't look very constituted.
They all look about the same level of withered. Weathered.
Okay.
And,
Weathered and
Yeah.
withered.
yeah.
Is this some sort of? I mean, Blue says, is this some sort of
They look
competition?
like hermits, like scholarly hermits.
Weird.
So you get the impression this is not a constitution.
Hermit academia.
Okay.
Ornamental hermit core.
I mean, I don't know, like, Blue is thinking, is this some sort of competition with the most constituted of each of the groups? And also, how could you do that if you somehow entered with like very few people? And yeah, like, but maybe that's people never do that. So she's, all right.
It's assuming that the trial. Probably, I make that's kind of like assuming that like it's the same trial every time. I think you would probably get the impression that considering nobody knew what they were up for, they were sort of told to trust their instincts, kind of like Ulster was. He was given no help into this one.
Okay. She might just sort of slowly kind of return to the group, just like, something gonna happen.
Bluey, do you want to?
Yeah.
Like, is this gonna be me competing with Nasha competing with someone over there? Like,
We don't know.
Lucas says, remember, we're not trying to fight them if we can't help it.
Probably be a test.
Definitely.
I think the one where we're going to be worried about attacking each other's
Strength.
And Lucas kind of looks nervously at Arsha's team with that.
We have you and Saraza, so Bluey takes this one.
Yeah. I might not need to be a single person every single time.
That's true.
Besides, there's no rule saying we can't help her from the distance if there a problem arises.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Is this place meant to know when each person's?
Bluey, maybe just go step forward if you are happy to do it. And let's see what happens.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
Also,
she does.
Bluey on the back.
Bluey,
Okay,
you've got this.
thanks.
Okay. I'm just going to finish this bit of Mawam.
I'm going to go to Bluey on the back.
Put your boo.
Okay.
Oh, it's still a bit wet. Wow. Okay. Hair. Need to get a haircut. How about that? Post lockdown.
So,
Goodbye, Thomas. Fleeing on the wind. Oh, those pumpkins are adorable. Oh, hello, music.
Bluey, you take a step forward away from the rest of your team. And in the moment you decide, yes, I will do this, you feel yourself kind of like go cold on the inside, like a cold resolve just kind of like washing over you, keeping you there. At which point you look over to Alabek's team and you notice that the dark elf individual has stepped forward in this case. So,
I think before things go any further, she might say to Courage in Draconic, you might want to ask someone else if they can keep you warm. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Blue Sparks, I do not want to leave you to this fate. I worry that something might happen to you.
Well, I mean, something could happen to you. It says Constitution. I'm
not particularly well constituted, no, Bluey Sparks, but
I mean, you're a free dragon. You can go anywhere you want.
She would love to have him.
Anywhere he wants, fine.
Oh, right. At that, Courage just kind of like flinches, but then says, he kind of flies off your shoulders, Bluey, and he just says, I believe in you, whatever it is that might happen.
Thank you, Courage.
Go
get warm.
I just need to open this.
You Bluey. You Bluey.
That's quite the serious DM script.
Lovely. I've just got the Dungeon Master's thingamajig open properly now.
Ooh.
You can have a look in.
That's cool.
So, Bluey. And everyone else, actually. I'll describe to you what you see. As the three of you take your place, just kind of like standing around the kind of like perimeter of this basin, you see in the very sort of like center, the snow that's gathered on top of this ice begins to rumble slightly, and then that spreads across to the edges, and you feel yourselves unable to move. The rest of your team, you kind of move backwards until you hit the edge of the ice wall exactly, and you notice there's a sort of like slight gradation down to the center. You hadn't really seen it before, but you also feel like it's kind of sinking a bit more. And you look over to that bridge where the rune was carved, and the kind of depth of it. And from above it, you just hear a noise, a kind of babbling, and then a rush as water begins to spill down a waterfall, filling the bottom of the basin. It gets deeper and deeper and deeper, Bluey, until the rim of it touches your toes. And when it does, you almost immediately go into shock, as it is bitterly cold, almost blisteringly. Now, the waterfall, once it fills this basin, widens and almost parts, revealing beneath it a cavern, in the mouth of which are 3 rowing vessels. Now, everyone else, looking from the distance, you don't feel like you can approach, and Shu kind of instinctively kind of moves as if to join with Bluey, kind of feeling like the anxiety and the confusion of this situation. And as she does, once she moves past a certain point, it's like she hits a solid barrier of air. And she kind of growls and spreads her wings and flies up once, twice, and whacks against it. Also, do you do anything?
Also, we'll call her back down and just pat aside.
Bluey.
Alright.
The trial, it seems, is this. Swim to the boat and bring it back to your team so that they may cross.
Okay.
Now, you look to your left, and Nasha has already waded in up to her knees. And she stands there and she is shivering, her whole body like wrapped up in cold, uncontrollable. But as she stands there, you notice her fingers begin to crack and bend as her arms are sucked into her sides. And she kind of throws her head back, and as she does, it rips into a wide jaw with shark teeth. And she transforms, wild shaping, and disappears beneath the ocean surface. Alabama, actually, Indira, the dark elf individual, is much more hesitant and kind of looks to you confused, a little helpless, but then she starts removing her leather armor. Bluey, what do you do?
Can we cast anything through that barrier?
You have not tried yet. Once Bluey acts,
Okay.
I'll let you guys have a try.
I'm guessing Bluey is able to move her feet by this point.
At this point, yes, you're standing with your feet at the sort of tip of this water. Now, the first thing I want you to do, actually, just really quickly, is just tell me, how's Bluey feeling?
I think just like she would have been looking back a bunch, especially I think she might have caught like Shu trying to get across, but you know, something's stopping her. Yeah, a little terrified, I think. This
Okay.
is, I mean, she's certainly not a bad swimmer, living on the coast, essentially. But I mean, the waters are so cold. Also, like seeing Indira take off the armor, I think Bluey's thinking like, "Oh damn, maybe Bluey doesn't want to lose her stuff. She doesn't want to have to take stuff off to swim. But if it's that extreme, she's gonna try other methods. Yeah.
Okay, so you're leaving your armor on.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Bluey,
Mm-hmm.
do you intend to get into the water?
Are we okay? So the water's sort of like filling up from the center as the kind of fall seems to deepen. Where are the? I'm not sure I have in mind like where the boats are and where the groups are correctly. Like
your group is behind you, slightly up above you, ever so slightly.
Okay, right.
You are as if on a bank of snow in front of what is essentially a still lake of water. Now,
right.
Distance is almost impossible to gauge, considering the weirdness of this world. But it does not look impossible. It looks swimmable from your perspective alone. That much you know just from your passive intelligence. The waterfall, because of where you were standing with Alabek, honestly, is just like a direct line in front of you. It looks like a straight swim, get a boat, row back situation.
Okay. Is the water filling?
It is now stopped, but the waterfall is still kind of moving. So you get the impression there's some sort of magic or drainage happening, but the waterfall is still there, whether it's like natural or not. It's
okay. If she's able to kind of maybe. Oh, okay. All right. I think she's gonna take off her like heavy kind of clothing, and I think she is gonna take off her armor and sort of chuck it back as far as possible, so as it's not in the water, and then get her boots of haste going, because that doubles movement.
Okay. All right, so that is going to be your action for this turn. Now that you've made the decision to get in the water, well, in sort of theory, rest of the team. As Bluey kind of commits to it, taking off her armor, you feel there's like a fluctuation in this sort of like barrier in front of you. And you get the feeling even though you can't pass through it, you could try to affect what is being lit with magic if you wanted to. So Ulster, Lucas looks to you.
I see that Bluey's got her boots of haste on. I'm going to attempt to reach out and freeze the front portion of the water to create like a little slab of ice.
You want to walk over me? Or
no, I'm like a surfboard of ice.
Oh my god.
I've also got an idea as well.
So, when you reach up your hand, Ulster, and you kind of like turn, sort of going through the motion of casting your magic has no effect on the water itself. And with that, you can get the impression you can only affect Bluey.
Can Bluey come back to us?
Yeah, Bluey, I've got water walk. You could go for a nice run across the water.
I think she has to go into the water. Okay, Bluey, could you come back here, please?
All right. She activates the boots now so that like she can run quickly back.
I'm gonna lay my hand against the barrier with Bluey on the other side because she's quite close.
Okay, you have your hands sort of like pressed together. There is still there's something there, but
I'm gonna cast protection from energy on her.
Okay.
And it's gonna be cold.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Okay. Bluey, you're now protected from cold damage.
Yeah.
If Cass is gonna say to Brian, so you think she has to go in the water?
I think she has to go.
Okay. Cass will put her hand up to Bluey, if she will.
Actually, Blue will put her other hand lower down.
And cast water breathing.
Amazing.
Oh my god.
Is water breathing a ritual?
It is a ritual, so it will take 10 minutes.
Take
So it's
10
whether you
minutes,
think
okay.
that we can wait the 10 minutes or if it needs to be quicker.
It needs to be quicker.
I don't think you can wait 10 minutes.
Okay.
I think you would know that just from something I'm going to describe in a split second.
Okay.
Okay. Bluey, Cass kind of puts her hand up to start casting water breathing on you, and you hear a shout from the water. And you look around and you see a head has popped up, and you see it's the dark elf individual. And she's kind of like heavy breathing as if she's struggling in this. Regardless of that, she's called over to you and she's just shouting, "It's freezing!"
Bluey, you're protected. Just go. Keep your head above water.
And Slia put her hand, get her hand in there at some point to cast resistance on Bluey.
Cass would take her hand away if we don't have time.
Okay.
Bluey, actually Ulster as well, make a perception check. The two of you. I think you guys would be the ones who are most attuned to this.
23.
21.
21, okay. When Indira says it's freezing, your first instinct is to think she's cold. She's freezing cold. But the water is freezing over.
Go, Bluey.
Oh, okay. Right.
Your window of opportunity is...
Go.
Is Slia able to... Is Slia still casting that?
Yeah,
the resistance is just an action.
Instantaneous? Okay.
Yeah.
6 seconds. I'll let you have it.
It lasts a minute.
All right.
Right. You rush to the edge. You feel empowered by the magic of your friends. You feel like you could do this. You remember the shock you felt just having your toes dip the edge of that water. And then you dive in. The first thing I'm going to have you do, because even though you're protected from cold damage, doesn't mean you're necessarily immune to the shock of it. I want you to make me a Constitution saving throw as you're submerged in ice water.
You have resistance.
You have resistance.
So that's a D4.
Oh, so I add D4. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
If you choose to. Yeah. You don't have to add it.
That's an unnatural 20.
Brilliant.
Don't have to use the D4 for this one.
You almost want to gasp, and you lose your orientation for a moment as you submerge yourself in this water. And in that disorientated sort of state, you spin around, your back sort of like against the ice below you, and you see the water surface just freeze. There are just lines of ice, and you kind of instinctively put a hand up, thinking, how are you going to breathe? Solid.
Oh,
Keep to me.
Blue, what do you do?
she will.
So I'll explain to you, if you want, a little bit of how this is going to go. I want you to describe to me, for each stage of this, how you're going to get, the distance you can go. And you can tell me a skill you want to use, but at every stage you're going to be making a Constitution save to make sure you can achieve what you're going to do.
So it seems like Blue will have to swim the whole way underwater.
It does seem that way, yes.
All right. She will. I think she'll swim. I guess. What is swimming speed?
So
Out
your
of walking speed?
It would be half of your walking speed, but you were hasting.
Okay. So I'd be swimming 30 feet if I didn't take a dash or anything.
You'd be swimming 30 feet, and because you can take the dash action as well, you could add an additional 30 feet. So essentially you have a 60-foot swim speed. That's the movement.
I think she'll swim. She'll swim the 30 feet, and then she might take out the says trident in the sheet, but with a pitchfork and try and see if she can smash the ice.
Okay, so this one is going to be, I think, strength. So you're going to have to roll me 2 checks. You're rolling me a strength check and an athletics check. Sorry, no, and a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay. The resistance thing, is that for saving throws?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I will. Sorry. Athletics.
No, sorry.
The first.
Strength, Constitution save.
Okay. Then that's 21 strength.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll add it anyway because it's. Oh wait, how many minutes? It's 1 minute.
1 minute, you get 1 save to add it to.
Okay, so there are 4 more saves 4 more turns I could use it, or 3, something like that. Okay.
Yeah, 4 more.
All right. Constitution save is 22. Yeah.
Actually, a minute is 10 rounds of combat. So you have 1.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep biting into this.
Okay.
Pretty yummy. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
That's
Okay. Louis, with your strength check, you brace your feet on the top of the ice and you kind of move forwards, kind of dragging yourself, using the sort of end of the trident to a grapple to help pull yourself forwards. Beneath you, you feel the basin dip lower and lower. It gets deeper. And when you look back, it seems almost impossible, considering the amount of water, filled this, but you cannot see the bottom. It's you and the ice shelf above you. Sorry, ice sheet above you. Putting that to the back of your mind, you brace your feet, you pull back with the trident, and you thrust it forwards, just as you lose the last of your air for that round. And you make a tiny hole this big. And you kind of put your lips to it and you inhale. And the moment your lips kind of close, you've got a full breath of air, it closes over again.
Okay. All right.
Constitution save, you're okay, you're not suffocating. And with the protection from energy that Allstate gave you, you are not freezing to death either. Now, Bluey, you look around and you can't orientate yourself except that you see in the distance, where everywhere else there is still water, you see a current of bubbling, churning water, where you know the waterfall must still be hitting. That is your mark. That is where you're going. And as you kind of orient yourself and you look at that, you catch a glimpse of something else. There is someone down here, someone who is clinging to the roof of this ice sheet and has just pressed their face up against it as close as they can go. And it is the dark elf woman. And you see that she is kind of breathing in those air bubbles that capture underneath ice sheets. She's breathing in as much as she can, and then she's crawling across the top. Smart. Rather than swimming, using the ice leverage to kind of pull herself through this trial. What do you do next? You can't see now.
Okay. Is Indira is she sort of within 30 feet of something of me?
I would say so. You guys were quite close together when the trial started, especially compared to the vastness of this lake.
Okay. I think Bluey will take the dash action, but pause. It can actually. Well, you can tell me if it isn't possible. She'll. She might swing by next to Indira and tap her on the shoulder, and then
she
point at her, and then go you good, you good. I just did that, but that in diving is go up, but that in diving is okay,
Yeah. She flinches when you tap her on the shoulder, and she pulls her hand back, and you see that she's got an ice pick just in her grasp, which she's obviously been using to crawl across the top. But she stops when she sees it's you, and she just points, and you see her finger kind of burst up to one of these very, very small dark patches, which are air bubbles against the surface, which she's been pressing into, and she keeps moving.
All right. Right. Blue will then sort of continue speeding along.
Everybody above ground. The moment the ice freezes over, you are unable to see the rest of the teams.
Also looks a bit sick.
Loran puts a hand on your shoulder and he just says, "She'll be alright."
I could have done this. You saw Nasha.
Nasha's team, you kind of look at the rest of them, and you can tell they're a bit more of the Fae. Narrow, skinny, something, but more dancer's muscles than. And he just says, "Nasha was the strongest of them."
I trust Bluey, and he just keeps staring at the lake.
Mm-hmm. Lucas will then say, "I could have done it too, but Bluey would do it best."
Then let's just wait.
Sorry. Oh wait, can Loran say something to you before you go?
Yes.
Loran says, "I know you could have done this, but I think we're going to need someone to unfreeze this water when
Oh. Do that, I could do that.
So, you all watch on as the trial continues. Bluey, you do feel like you're making progress here. Now, you make your next move? What are you doing? Continuing on as normal, or?
Yeah, continuing on as normal. Am I able to decide in how many turns? Okay.
You're moving as far as you can go, or as far as you wish to go. Think of it like a regular round of combat. Like you have your hasted action, you have your action.
Okay. She had the thought before because below her is quite dark, but like hearing you not that she'd had this, but like hearing you describe people unable to see what is happening to her, she wants to like speak the command word on the gem of brightness so that it might be seen under, like it might shed some light.
Okay,
That's cool.
She doesn't want to like waste her breath doing that, so maybe the next time she's like out for air, she'll speak it.
The impression that at the end of each turn there is a chance to find a way to get air. That's what the Constitution save is really for, or a way to keep surviving in whatever your weakness is. So, for example, in Indira's case, it's like finding the air bubbles is kind of represented by the Constitution save. So you could probably speak the command word if you wanted to really do it.
Okay.
Also, I think it's really cool, so I won't force you to.
Okay. Would activating that, is that an action? It's
Yes, it would be.
Effect doesn't extend a charge, it lasts until used. Oh, it's a bonus.
Oh, there you go. Bonus action.
No, sorry, action. It is an action. All right.
Okay.
So she will move 30 feet and into the water, like, go like. If it turns off. And then con saving throw, I guess. And it's 30 foot. I mean, it might be different in water, but it's bright light within 30 feet and dim light for another 30. So.
Also, as you kind of like wrapped up with worry watching this trial happen, suddenly there's just a bloom of warm blue light from beneath the water, and you see this beacon of hope that is Bluey, and you actually almost, it's a bit too far. You can almost see the the indent of her. And Bluey, you keep moving onwards. Make your Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay. Oh, yep. Okay, I'm using the Sleer's
Little smile is like,
it's purple. What is that? What is that number? It's a nice little 3. Okay, that is 16.
16. You keep going. You can't see another air bubble. You look over to Indira, and a slight panic sets in as you can't really see her. You see a vague glimpse of her in the distance. You know you would not be able to bridge that gap with the air that you have left. And you kind of hold your breath, trying to sort of like capture as much air as possible. Louis, with a 16, it is not enough to go the full distance without air. Your next turn, you're going to have half movement. Okay. And if you fail again, you're going to start suffocating. Okay. Right.
Cool.
it's a high save.
It's a high save. It's the King's Trial.
Yeah.
So, you carry on. Everyone above ground. In the distance, you see movement near the boats as Nasha, no longer transformed, pulls up one arm, pulls up another arm, and heaves herself onto the boat. And she picks up the oars and she starts pulling and pulling.
Also, just goes like, she should have helped the others. It's an unfair advantage with wild shape.
And she realises then that the water is frozen.
Wait, can we act at all?
If you want to, yeah, you could.
Okay. Alcest says that, and then he looks around at his group, and then he'll look at Loran and say, "Can you give me a spark?"
Loran clicks his fingers, and you see his hand just kind of alight with fire. Tell me what you want.
I think also will take the fire with him, and he's going to throw it out over the ice to try and melt a small path.
Okay. You kind of throw it out, and you do see Nasha's team was sort of like looking to each other as if they're about to try and do something, but in their sort of surprised state, they don't see it coming. The fire arcs out over the ice like a firework, and then it lands right in front of Nasha's boat. And you see Nasha tense as though she thinks you're about to burn her boat alive. And then the fire settles in and almost unnaturally kind of like manages to sort of like stay alight even atop the water. And Loran just says, a boom. And at which point your fire merged together just races across the top of the ice, carving a line right in front of Nasha's boat. And at that point, her team, formed pressed up against the barrier, is able to freely move down to the water. And you see two of them running across the ice. One of them sort of like stays across like kind of at the edge to wait for the boat, pull it in. And Nasha begins to row back.
Also, just looking at Nasha, he's like,
and where she rows, it seals up behind. Bluey, you see this happen from beneath the ice, and as it does, a ripple, a shockwave of just heat goes underneath the sheet of ice, and there is a bubble appearing above you. What do you do?
I'm gonna.
Get your shore out.
With disadvantage, please.
Con saving throw at disadvantage.
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'll say why. It might be a bit.
Oh, okay. That's 14.
14. Okay. You are able to inhale the air that comes in that way, but there is a smokiness to it that doesn't quite quench your need for air. So
I will counter with that. It had nothing to burn through to create smoke, though.
I'm not saying it is. No, I'm the DM. Ha! But
science doesn't matter.
Science.
You can say there's not much oxygen there for her to get at because the fire is consuming it.
Okay, fine. Science then. Not a lot of oxygen there for you to get at. But regardless, it doesn't actually impede you. It's just not going to give you necessarily exactly what you need. So the next con save is still very important, or you will suffocate, but it will be just straight. Okay?
Okay.
Cool.
Alright, well, I guess you'll
you can move at full speed.
Is there another opportunity this round to try and get air?
Yeah, so this is the start of a new round, so you'll be moving this point.
Alright, she might move 30 feet and use the pitchfork again to try and get through the ice.
Okay.
Like same method.
Cool. Would you like to make a strength check, please?
Bless
Thank you.
What are some of these rolls, bless you? That's also 14.
14. Armor class for crystal, glass, or ice is 13. Smash through.
Big gulp, please. I'll get the big gulp.
As you big gulp, you are able to move on further and further. Now, you can see the boat at this point. And where you see the boat, you see Indira is motionless. at the lip between wood and ice. She's not moving, but you're within 1 round of your boat. What do you do?
This is going to be a hard one to do, isn't it?
I'm gonna swim to her. If I can dash, no, I want to look. Is she 30 feet away, or is she more than that?
As in 30 feet away? Again, distance is difficult here.
Okay.
To make it easy, yes. Let's say 30 feet.
All right. She will swim that 30 feet and kind of use her action to kind of like prod her, and if she reacts, I guess she's conscious. But if she doesn't, then next turn Blue will try and grab her. So she'll like.
So Bluey, when you realise that she is on the brink of consciousness.
Oh god. Okay.
She still has like air in her cheeks, but it's bubbling at her lips as if it's slowly escaping. And it looks like she's doing everything in her power to prevent herself from breathing in.
No, she just ignored this.
Okay.
Far further ahead than both. The stage.
Bluey will like swim underneath her and I guess like hook her arms under her shoulders.
Sure.
And then like start swimming to carry both of them.
Okay. So make me a strength check, please. Disadvantage.
Okay. Okay.
As we're moving through water laden whilst also carrying this trident.
I can re-roll. I can re-roll. I need to re-roll. Pretty please. Okay, wait. How do I re-roll like a check at disadvantage? Oh wait, no, that's a saving throw. I can only re-roll saving throws.
Do you have your foresight?
It was, I think, a 15, and I don't think anybody used it.
No.
Oh. I don't see it here. Long rest, and then I don't see the use of a brief foresight, so I'm going to roll another dice.
Okay.
And hope that it's higher. Okay, come on. Oh no! Okay, so at disadvantage, I got a nat 1 on the dice, and then I re-rolled. I rolled brief foresight, and it's a nat 1. So she's nat 1ing it. I won't use the brief foresight nat. Okay.
Louis?
All right.
With a natural 1.
Okay.
On your strength, make me a Constitution saving.
Okay.
This is the last one you have.
All right. At disadvantage?
I will allow you to take this one straight because science.
Come on.
Is super.
Jesus. Oh, okay, I'm gonna re-roll it. I got a 3 on the dice. Oh my goodness, this is terrible.
Terrible.
Okay, this is not terrible anymore. It is 27.
I knew I was going to be 27. I heard it in my brain. Amazing. So 27, Louis. You kick, struggling to get underneath your boats. The current that is pulsing down from this waterfall is too strong for you to move freely whilst carrying someone. But you hold your breath. Your lungs are burning, they are so tight. You haven't had a full gulp of air since you got into the water. But the current is pushing the two of you down deeper and deeper, further away from the boats. At which point, Indira raises up her hand and, with the last of her breath, just speaks a word you don't quite recognise.
Excuse me,
and
sorry.
From the tips of her fingers, you just see plant life or vegetation begin to sort of like stretch up in like a spindling spiral. It's very, very fine. but you've seen that she's like weaving them together as best as she can, and they begin to kind of create like a chain to the boat. And everyone else from the distance, from the sort of like edge of this arena, you see this green kind of like algae creep over the edge of the boat and secure itself there. And Indira has the strength to hold it, but she does not have the strength or the constitution at the moment to climb it. Bluey, with Indira's aid, make me one more strength check with advantage, please.
Is this to attempt to hold on to that created rope?
Yeah, you're going to be climbing up it as best as you can.
Did you say strength check at
Advantage with her help.
Okay, that is unnatural 20.
Everyone else, you see this algae kind of secure itself. You're watching from the distance. Nasha's almost fully made it back to the shore. Bluey has been gone for too long.
Also is glaring at Nasha at this point.
Is Nasha like come back, or has she gone further away? Is she like far
Come
from
back
us?
to shore with the boat.
Oh, so she's come back, right? I see.
Yes, one of the team waited at the edge. The impression that one of them is not quite prepared to run through icy water. But regardless, as that algae kind of creeps over, you wait, and then you see a blue dragon claw hand.
Do you mean red?
Sorry. Yeah, I do. A red dragon claw hand just grip the edge of the boat. And in the other arm, as she pulls herself over, you see her holding the figure of a dark elf, spluttering water, who has got this green algae kind of twisted up her arm. Bluey, well done. You made it through the ice. Right. Everybody on the edge. They're in this boat. They're not going to be able to get back without your help. What do you do?
I assume we start
We
going.
get past the barrier now.
Yeah, you're able to throw spells past the barrier.
Can we break the ice again in the same way?
Do you want to break the ice in the same way? Yeah. Okay.
I think Ulster's fire is a little bit more simmering at this point now.
Your fire burns across the top of the ice. It fractures and dissipates, leaving a still lake with two boats at one end, beginning to make their way down. Lorian unravels the carpet and says, just to make this easier for them. He hops onto it. Anybody want to come with me? We might need a healer.
Yeah, Cass, I think, would also get on.
Neff, just in case.
I think she'd go, yeah.
So, the four of you, Ulster looks over, not Ulster, Lorian looks over to Ulster.
I'll stay here.
Don't kill her.
He looks at Nasha and he's just like, no, I won't kill her.
A strongly worded letter, maybe?
Strongly worded letters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The carpet takes off over the top of the water. Partway across, you notice it's sort of like slowly veering close over the ice. Sorry, over the water surface. And Loran looks momentarily concerned. And it's like, let's just use the boats. Why don't we? Managing to make it just to the edge of the boat before you completely submerge yourselves. Bluey.
Blue will help them on.
You can help them on. There is one boat that's fully empty, meant for Alabek's team, you imagine. But Indira does not look like she's in any fit state to pilot it. Cass, Neff?
Yeah, Cass might turn to Loran and go, shall I row that boat, or should we just go in one?
We could just go with the one. It looks large enough for all of us, but I think it might be advisable to go with two in case we have any conversations that need to be had. Just
Wait, I'm confused. What's happening now? No, I think Cass was meaning like, should I row?
yeah, that's what Luan meant. As in, like he said,
Right. So that we've got two. So if we then
he
need to do
said
future
he
things,
thinks it would be large enough, but in case we need to have any private conversations, we should probably make it take two.
okay, cool. Right, Cass would get in the other one then.
Okay. So you guys begin to row the boats back.
Can I have strongly worded response to Dasha as she's celebrating?
Sarah's she doesn't look like she's celebrating though.
Sarah just picks all stuff like, no, don't do it.
Sarah's Slia.
Slia went with Loran.
Oh, did you? Sorry. Sarah's Lucas, all stare. The three of you are at the edge of this lake. And also you do look over to Nasha and you notice that she is not celebrating. She is kind of loading her team on, helping the one who stayed at the edge of the water, who, upon closer inspection, is wearing quite heavy armour, so you get the impression that's why they weren't walking across what I saw swimming. And she looks down at the floor and goes over to Bluey's discarded items, and she picks them up, and she brings them over to you. I was scared of that. And she brings them over to you and she just says, we all made it. You pass them.
Look back next time and he'll take them. You get the impression that that was the most kind thing he had on his mind.
She says, I have to believe we don't die in here.
I think if any of us do, it won't be a pretty end to the trial.
You can tell she's kind of distant in that moment, and you get the impression she's thinking of the team member that she lost. No. No, it wouldn't.
He nods at her. And turns back to Bluey like, come on.
Okay.
I'm going to see what happens.
Okay. You guys load up onto the boats once you reach the shore. Alabek, Zor, and Valden. Oh, it might be your thing! Happy birthday! Wait.
Oh.
Your neck?
Happy birthday! Open the list per video so people can see you. Yes. It's a gift! Hee
Aww.
Thought they would be nice.
That's very funny. I'll show you guys.
Oh.
Oh, nice. Oh, what's that say?
What does that one say?
Kiki.
Cute.
Oh, right. Okay.
Happy. Here, you're on haha. But yes. But I've been waiting for this for ages. I'm glad they gave you an extra one. Oh, is that just the boat? Because like, right. You guys all pile up onto the boats.
I will eat.
I think Kath would hand Alabek the oar and be like, "You're welcome." Walk up to the other our group.
Alabek seems slightly stunned, and then he looks over at Indira and kind of rushes over and helps her up and sort of out of that boat.
I could say he's somewhat endeared to her.
Ah.
Sorry,
Slia,
you like
are either of you going to do any healing on that?
I was gonna ask, could we do like a medicine check to see kind of like what they need?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would also like to do one.
I'm on fire.
Moist.
Emma,
Yes.
as Cass passes Nasha, I think she's gonna send her a message and just say "nicely done" as she
Okay.
passes her.
Okay. Understood. I'll get a response for you in a second.
Slia's was a 28 medicine.
Mine's a 13.
13. Together, you guys kind of helping each other. Neff, you've always been very close to Bluey. Having
shit.
Bluey and
Sorry.
the team around the same time. It's alright. Time for a phone call, I think. Having joined the team around the same time, you're kind of very worried about her making sure that Bluey is sort of like okay, so you can't focus fully on Indira. But together, you guys notice that she does seem to have a level of exhaustion, at least. And same as Bluey, actually, you notice sort of like hypothermia setting in as the protection from energy wears off. You get the impression that Bluey is also probably going to suffer a similar kind of reaction if she's not dealt with or given some kind of preventive measure.
With a level of exhaustion, is that something I could use a greater restoration on, or is that too excessive?
Which one?
Oh yeah, no, greater restoration. I think that would use on Bluey to reduce.
Isn't currently. Sorry, Neff, can you continue?
Yeah, I would like to use greater restoration on Bluey because this will reduce the target's exhaustion level by 1.
So this would be a preventative measure because you get the impression that once the protection of energy is actually last an hour, once that wears off is when you have to worry about that.
If she's dry, you won't.
No, I mean I'm just saying it's going to be like there's going to be a level of exhaustion after the trial, which is just representative of the struggle, the constitution effort.
Okay.
It's like a combination of things. But if you want to do that as a preventative measure, you probably can.
Sure.
Indira is probably going to need much more immediate help.
Okay.
With my 28, could I tell like what extra help Indira might need?
Yeah. So, like I said before, she's suffering from hypothermia at the moment and has a level of exhaustion.
Okay.
So, like you said, hot water bottle and a spell of some kind.
Okay. So like a greater restoration and I know we had like an item that was my brain's just like it's the warm cube.
The warm cube you do well. So what you have is you have that box which you can pull stuff out of, and you did learn of a warm cube. So what you have to do is, did I send this to you?
Well remembered. I had completely forgot about that.
You sent it to me. Let me see. Let me find my notes.
You do have the thermal cube. Yep. It's a wondrous item that generates enough dry heat to keep the temperature within 15 degrees.
Okay, so yeah, while we're like rowing back, can Slia have activated the warm cube?
Sure, that is a-okay. You also have the abracadabrus, don't forget.
Yeah.
What does that do again?
The abracadabrus, you can pull items out of it, and if you roll high enough, once a day you can pull out a magical item.
Right, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Would the warm cube basically be enough to circumvent the effects on Indira, or would the greater restoration be needed?
I think for the level of exhaustion, warm is not enough.
Okay, cool. I will mark down the spell slot then.
Okay, thank you. So, recovered now from the trial, Alabek kind of helps Indira into the other boat, and he looks over at you, Bluey, and Slinger, and he just says, "Thank you."
Welcome.
He looks confused for a second and then heads over to the boat. And with a sort of flick of his wrist, he's screaming. With a flick of his wrist, the sort of oars start rowing themselves. With his team all together inside of it. Also, he would have said thank you to you as well. and Alabek's team pushes off into the water. Nasha will reply to Cass, but this is on. Cass suddenly gets a very important phone call. Shu paws the edge of the boat and looks saddened for a second as she realizes she won't be able to fit in it.
Why? It'll be okay.
She looks like she has separation anxiety and wants to be cuddled exactly like this. Also gives her a cuddle exactly like this before they get on the boat. You manage to cuddle. And with that, unless there's anything else you guys want to do.
He's so happy. I don't know if you can hear him. He's just rattling.
Yeah. Unless there's anything else you guys want to do before you proceed deeper into the ice, we will continue onwards.
Onwards.
Onwards to adventure.
To adventure.
Which means at this point we will take our break. Should we come back at 12?
Yeah.
Just about 14 minutes time.
Okay.
Alright, see you in a minute.
Thank you. Cat. You're a heavy little fucker. Wow. Do you need to believe him? I can't remember around my neck. Weird. He'd be soft enough to make enough stuff. You meant you on here? No, no, no. Menace is gone. comes back. Hello.
Oh god.
What?
Not Ulster. I meant Baz.
You called him Ulster?
I called Baz Ulster. He's going on. Lily.
Oh, hold on.
Hello.
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 I'm finishing off my roommate's dinner because she's gone to sleep.
Nice. What kind of dinner?
It is a chicken style meat free like patty.
Oh, okay. Sounds nice.
Baked bacon and a bit of lettuce, maybe a slice of Pringles cheese,
Hmm.
and then some smoky barbecue.
Okay, that sounds nice.
Mm.
I have just
Not
had it.
warm at all. It's just also delicious, and she
That's good.
rarely, what she eats is enough to sustain her.
Hmm.
But see, I can always have more. So.
I had a surprise arrive in the mail for me today, which I only just noticed that there was a package outside. Now I'm terrified. I have to.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah.
Now that you're. What was that last part, sorry?
I said I had a package arrive, and now I'm a bit terrified because of what it is.
Oh, terrified. Okay.
Yeah, I did some stream goal a while ago, to wear like a maid outfit on stream for a week, and that arrived now. Although it doesn't look like it's the right size. I don't know. I haven't opened it yet. It's Chinese, so maybe the sizing doesn't translate over super well. But I think I ordered a medium, and that says XL on it. So I don't know.
Okay.
We'll have to see if that works or not.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Luck.
Thank you.
I had the cat on me for several minutes.
The what?
The cat
Oh.
in my arms.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw you on my computer screen.
I don't know. He was very interested in toppling over the dice, and I'm like, okay, that is the limit. I'm not.
Hey, this is going too far.
Let him continue. Touch my die. Are we seeing studio? Different room.
Say again.
Emma transported us to
Oh yeah.
different room.
Yeah.
Very intriguing.
Mini partial room / house tour we're getting.
I'd like to see the full version soon, please.
The full house tour. Alright, are you gonna be doing anything for Halloween?
Yes.
Cool.
Let me finish this mouthful. Sorry.
All good, all good.
All right. So, I am going to a Halloween party. The theme for costuming is girl boss and or
Uh-huh.
slut,
And or what?
slutty.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay. And or, I like that.
Well, okay, I'm interpreting it that way because,
Mhm.
you know, the person who kind of unofficially laid the ground rules said, like, for the men, dress slutty, and for the women, dress girl boss.
Oh, okay,
But, like,
yeah, that sounds awesome.
you know, I think that's a slightly bullshit rule, and so does Tom, you know, for several reasons. But you know,
Yeah.
there's no intentional invalidation happening. It's just like,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah,
But
yeah.
okay, party sounds fun though.
Although before that is also like a watch of Over the Garden Wall because that's
Oh,
apparently
okay.
been planned for ages.
Okay.
Which I also seen. But yeah,
Is that on
so,
Netflix or is it not?
I have no idea. Um,
I accidentally paid for a month of Netflix extra, so now I have to find other stuff to watch for a month to justify it.
oh,
I forgot to cancel my thing for the previous month because I watched the new MLP movie and then I watched Squid Game. I was like, okay, cool, done. I didn't even remember to cancel it, and then I just forgot to.
okay, right. We have seen the MLP movie now. Also,
Oh, what do you think of it?
it was good. It
Yeah.
was funny and a little weird that like the deputy sheriff, like had this sort of like almost like kind of like the aesthetics and like showmanship of like fascism. It's like
Oh
funny.
yeah. Evil bad guy.
Like it was, I don't know, yeah, but like it was great.
His song was also
Ooh,
way better than it deserved to be.
you're up in the office. Have you got your
Ooh.
desk in? Are you working on your bed?
You're muted.
Also, welcome back, George.
I'm muted.
And Emma.
Hi.
I'm
Emma.
playing on the bed.
I see.
No, it's better that I'm behind you anyway. Quite dark, so I just put the light on.
Sorry, that call with the customer went on a little bit longer than I thought it
The
would.
big one, I think. 'Cause otherwise
Oh, I can put my camera on. I just forgot to.
I'm not really in the light. I think it's meant to. I think we need to do it again. Yeah.
Oh.
We're both getting a cold, aren't we? Where did I come?
I hope you guys are doing okay.
Right.
Imagine cold weather.
Also, hello,
Amazing.
Ellen. Hello, Lily.
Oh,
Blah, blah, blah. La, 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 la.
There we go. Righty. So, George, just because we didn't ever get to this, when you
Yeah, sorry.
That's right. No, not sorry at all. Thank you for playing and being here. When you messaged Nasha, saying nicely done, she would have hesitated, and then just nodded and said, "I could have done better."
Hath will give a little smile, but that's it. But she's just walking on. She's not looking back at Nasha, but she'll have given a little smile at that.
Sure. Right. So, with that, you guys, again, like I said, all pile onto the boats, and you begin, and you start making your way into
my bed.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's even weirder. Oh,
That's,
wow.
that's a really trippy view. I like this.
Under the ice. Now, they should play.
Hello.
Please play.
It is. Oh, wow.
So, Oh, I can see me! That's really weird. Yeah. Hi, guys. You're getting it from all the angles. So, you guys make your way underneath the ice. That curtain of waterfall just kind of cascades on either side of you, and for a moment it does appear peaceful, and you forget the intensity of the trial that brought you here. Beneath you, the water sort of rolls backwards and forwards, lulled by some kind of tide. Exactly what you aren't sure. Ulster, this resembles the caverns which you felt in your commune with nature.
I'm just going to double check the door's locked.
Okay.
We have 2 whole views of Emma.
Love that basket. It's very creative.
Bring him to me.
Bring him to me.
Bring the boy. When I was in here yesterday, he was just sitting on the bed and having a good time. So, shoe in the background. Not the click-clacks. So, you guys are approached by a small, fluffy boy.
What happened to
Tostel's with you.
Yeah.
It's always with you. The moment you mention him is when he's summoned into existence. So, yeah. You've known my secrets now. I've got Basil on my lap. Anyway, you guys head down into this underground cavern, and all around you, the ice is kind of dense and coloured like an aurora. And Slia, there's a sort of moment where you think that it reminds you almost of your deity's magic. There is something divine about this place. Increasingly so as you make your way deeper and deeper into the caverns. Now, the 3 boats are moving in a sort of succession here, with Narsha's team at the front, yours in the middle, and Alabex at the very back. Alabex is steering itself. Narsha is pushing hers with the help from her teammates. You guys, how are you rowing this boat?
Row your boat.
It probably shouldn't be me.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be Sarah's, Bluey, and Cass.
Okay. Sarah's a Bluey and Cass. The 3 of you kind of rotate turns, rowing this boat. And surprisingly, it's peaceful here. There is no interruption. There is no hint of a trial, per se. There is just peace and quiet.
Can I do a perception check?
Yeah.
I don't
Same.
trust you. It's so lovely. Roll initiative.
If it's alright, I'll also.
18.
Okay.
24.
Okay. Why do you sound so scared?
No, it was just like, oh my gosh, Slia sees things for once.
Wait, can I do a perception as well? Or
Yeah.
Also 18.
26?
26.
Snap, snap.
So, at the moment, as you go, you do not see any carvings resembling that of the rune in the basin. You just see smooth, slightly rippling glacial surfaces, subterranean ice, just built up over how long you do not know. And as you do keep going, however, you do notice there is something else here, something in the ice that you hadn't seen before. Shapes
and colors.
Shapes and colors. Shapes. People. Have you ever heard of, well, obviously you've heard of it, have you ever seen images or exhibitions about Pompeii?
Yeah.
The way that in the throes of doing whatever it was they were at that moment, they were frozen in time when the volcano hit. You see people walking. You see people smiling, holding hands, holding children. You see animals scattered throughout this ice, flash frozen, long gone, but you see the shadows of them, where their bodies have decayed, the spaces they've left behind that are filled with water, sediment, snow.
Can we tell from the build of them what race they were?
Make me a nature check, please. Yeah.
Oh, your nature's getting used so much at the minute.
Hee.
I lost my phone, but I have his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I make an investigation?
You may, yes.
A 15.
15. And Cass?
Oh! Natural 20 to make a 29.
29. Oh, shit. So,
I investigate the heck out of here.
yeah. With a 15, you are able to ascertain that these people are taller than yourselves, a range of body types, but generally slender-limbed. Anything that was their clothing or that could sort of define what their culture was or their country has been lost to time. But somewhat fey, you think, Ulster.
The cliche looks.
Cass,
Oh my god. You're being naughty.
with that investigation check, you kind of in tune with what Ulster's thinking, almost. And you get the impression that these people were, if not the same, then a similar race to those who have been known as Lachey in the past.
And with that investigation, do I get any idea of like if the I know that wasn't Arcana, but do I get any sort of was it like flash freezing but natural or flash freezing but like unnatural? Can I get anything from that? With a natural training.
No, I don't think you'll be able to. Not with investigation.
Damn.
But
Okay.
Loran kind of, as he's watching this, looks over at you, Sleer, and he just says, "You look like there's something on your mind."
Not anything on Slea's mind. I just hit a really big pain spike, and it's and I just vanished real quick to go take some more like pain meds, but just like
No, you can go. If you want to go and take them, that's fine.
no, I just did nothing on Slea's mind. Just I might be a little bit slow while I'm trying to process through that.
That's fine. No thoughts, just vibes.
Pretty much. If I could do a nature check as well, just to kind of or like an Arcana check to see.
Yeah, of course.
Along those lines of kind of what happened here.
Louis?
I don't think Blue would have turned off her light thing. So I don't know. That might be adding to how spectacular the place looks.
I think if you've kept it on, then it only enhances it and allows you to see these shadows of these kind of like empty spaces better.
For either Arcana or Nature, whichever one you think would be more appropriate for that kind of like line of thought. Either way, it's going to be a 30.
30. Okay, what we got? So
18 plus 12.
With a 30, Leah, as you look at these sort of like pockets in the shape of humanoids, you are becoming increasingly aware of another energy which sort of surrounds this place. One which is a little bit more sinister than what first impressions of this area would suggest. It's beautiful here, but no, this ice, this flash freeze does not seem natural. It was the result of magic, and a magic that was intense, somewhat vengeful, and you think meant to punish.
Perhaps divine magic?
Perhaps.
Slia will kind of inform, update the group on this. Also, I feel like it kind of it kind of makes sense. It's like she's like tapping into that ability that like Baitan showed her how to do, and
love that. And I think it's not lost on any of you that Alabek looks enthralled by this.
Oof. Does he look positive?
No, not psychotic, but he is just like wrapped up in these surroundings, like paying hardly any mind to anything else.
Can I focus on like the river and where we're going? Because I have if I see that Alabek's like really, I feel like Cass is like looking around really caught up as well, sees Alabek is really caught up, and then is like, is this the point? Are we going into a trap? And like focuses on exactly where they're going and what's coming up ahead.
I will keep you informed then if there's anything that changes. Ulster?
I was going to say in response to Alec, whilst I think he looks really, I don't know, enthralled, I think Ulster probably looks a little bit sad as the only heartless Shane in the group.
Loran holds your hand.
Also doesn't say anything, but he'll hold the hand.
Perhaps the point of getting through these trials is so that we get a chance to speak with him, Sylvanus.
I'm sure he'll love to speak to me.
Loran's kind of addressing the whole group here, not just Ulster. So if anybody wants to remark on that, you may.
Nothing to say.
Yeah. Cass is focus.
Well, he seems like a cruel god anyway.
Maybe you could change that.
Also gives a little laugh and he'll look ahead. He's kind of within himself, I think, right now.
So you guys continue deeper and deeper. Loran, noticing the mood kind of turn slightly. The moment those sort of figures become sparse again, so that you're only seeing a couple every now and again. He'll turn to the group and he'll say, so maybe it's worth thinking about now. What kind of trial do you think you guys want to go into, if that's the case? I'll take the written exams.
If there's a charisma-based one, me.
I'm happy to support, but I guess I should take the wisdom.
I wouldn't mind a written exam.
Much more on the.
intelligent.
I used to study a lot, and I read a lot of books. I mean, it kind of sometimes goes through one ear and out the other. But for the test, I was always really prepared.
That's true. Well, I suppose I could give up my spot on the written exam to do something more with dexterity and less. And he looks at you, Slia.
Oh no, definitely more of a wisdom type person.
Who's the second smartest? Would it be Cass in the group?
Second smartest. So Cass's intelligence is 19.
Ooh! That's good wisdom, but not the greatest intelligence.
Yeah,
Slia's a 15.
but Cass's charisma's 20. So I feel like
Cass, oh my god.
yeah. So I mean, her intelligence and Arcana is basically her highest. It used to be strength, but she's put more into charisma and intelligence.
Neff has wisdom 17, which is interestingly enough her highest stat.
Well, maybe Cass and Ram could take any intelligence together. Neff's here and I can look at wisdom.
I'm very dexy. Lucas says.
Bluey and Saraza could be strength.
And Lucas as well.
I'm also very strong.
Let's decide who get that.
Yeah. It might be that some of us have to do more than one.
Don't mind.
Neither.
I don't think any of us do. Brian says.
I've heard the phrase teamwork makes the dream work, so.
Where have you heard that before?
Tell me your secrets.
After a little pause, Bluey might sort of quietly say to Brian, has the token looking the same? Like, I mean, we're in a nice tunnel with, where there's been kind of shapes of people filled in with kind of sediment and stuff over the ages. Like there's kind of inclusions into the ice, and we've been given a relic which has little water bits stuck inside ice, and she might like whisper that out, like, does it? I mean, like it's.
So pull his cloak over the quartz and take a look at it.
As you look at it, this is hydro quartz, so it is a stone rather than ice. However, in looking at the sort of pockets of people that once were here, you get the impression that if something were done to the water inside, something that could reveal the shape of the pocket in there, you might learn something.
Wait, which pocket?
In the quartz. It's hydro quartz, there's water trapped in it.
Oh, I guess also I could freeze it.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I'll tap it.
You kind of tap the edge of it with your finger and slowly begin to sort of freeze it over. And as you do, you see that there is a key or something like that forming where the ice freezes.
Interesting. Cool, so we'll put it back down and he'll just turn and say to one person near him and get them to pass it on what he saw.
I think seeing this whispered conversation going on, Cass will start casting telepathic bond so that we can all communicate telepathically. How many are we in a group? How many, including
8 of us.
including all of Lucas's group?
Lucas didn't bring anyone in the end.
Oh, okay. He didn't bring anyone. All right. So 8. Is it 8? It's 8 exactly. I can form a telepathic link with 8 willing creatures of your choice within range.
Brilliant.
Wait, where's the rest of Lucas's group?
He just grabbed onto my leg.
Oh. Lucas didn't bring a group. An oversight of mine, maybe. But he was like, I trust Ulster's friends.
I was always like, also, you don't have any friends, brings no friends.
You're always like that.
Okay, cool. So the 8 of us can now communicate telepathically with one another.
Okay.
Whoa.
And communication is possible over any distance, but it can't extend to other planes. So,
Loran, Neff, you hear a voice in your head and it just goes, I am a demon about to possess your soul.
Loran,
Can I send a telepathic message back?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm married. My soul is already taken.
Alright, okay, didn't work. I will stop. Looks at you, Sleer, like...
Then I look at Loran. Loran, you'll never believe what I just got telepathically.
No shit, tell me.
Okay, so I think there's a demon attempting to take control of us. We should probably be on the lookout.
We should. Loran looks at Cass intently.
Cass raises her eyebrow and looks back.
Mm-hmm. Loran raises his higher.
Like, are they just gonna get in an eyebrow contest where it's like,
You're both older than me, and right now, I doubt it.
Mm.
yeah, Cass is literally like 42, like.
We're at 127, like.
I have been 21 for the entire duration of this campaign somehow. I don't know how that's possible. IRL, I've aged 3 years.
Loran says, Cass, by the way, you took your potion, didn't you?
Of course.
Of course.
You saw me.
Mm. You're right, I did. Sorry, I should have remembered that.
Cass's eyebrow somehow, impossibly, raises higher.
So you cannot be under the possession of any other kind of creature.
No.
Yeah, what were you want to do?
More of a question for the DM. Does it feel like as we're like rowing, like we're headed to a destination, like the next kind of arena, or does it feel like we're kind of waiting at the bottom of the basin again for the next thing to start?
You are moving, you feel, towards the next thing.
Okay.
So, and the kind of colours stretch out of the ice and shimmer into the water. You have like greens and blues and whites. And you realise that you haven't seen any of these figures now.
Aww.
For a while. And as you continue on, who would be rowing the boat at this point?
Cass, Saraza, or Bluey. So whichever of those three, I don't know. Take your pick.
Then Bluey, Cass, both of you make perception checks, please.
Is that a 1 or a 7? It's a 1. That's a nat 1. Cass is too busy focusing on her eyebrows and how high she can raise them than she can on anything else.
Okay.
Bluey?
That is a 19. Yep.
Bless you.
Oh, bless you.
Can you still hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Bluey, with that 19, as you're rowing, you kind of peek over the edge and into the water, and it is crystal clear. And within it, you can see the spirit-like, watery forms of El pushing. Fae, but you know what I mean. Of Fae, these similar creatures, their hands like waves pushing the boat further and further down through this underground cavern.
Wait, like helping us along? Seems like.
Potentially.
My hands aren't knocking. My oar isn't knocking into any of the hands, are they?
Mm-hmm. And you feel the oars kind of go quicker and quicker as the speed picks up, and you realize you're moving downstream. And at this point, the tunnel splits ahead of you into 5.
Oh,
Would I have seen this in my commune with nature?
Yes, I think you would, but you're getting to the village.
Do I know vaguely where the tunnels lead?
You know. Try and describe. Each of these tunnels has a very unique feeling.
Someone's ringing our doorbell.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Yum, yum, yum.
I'm gonna use the opportunity to also go to the loo really fast.
I hear a car, but are they going to come to my door? I don't know. It's a lorry. I can hear them reverse.
This is so. The music makes it all so melancholy. It's great.
I can't listen to the music with these headphones in because it doesn't work, unfortunately. So I will take your word for the melancholiness.
Yeah, I didn't pop up the Sirenscape today because I was gonna attempt to play without headphones because when we started, I was like basically trying to get rid of I was waiting for meds to kick in for the migraine, and then it was just like, okay, I can do it. I can do this now. But then I just forgot to turn it on.
No. I wish I could describe.
I'll catch it on the playback.
I could. Open my. Oh, it doesn't pick up. It's not picking it up.
Mm-mm.
It's very easy. I keep talking. Hello.
Oh! Well, there was something, and then it was like dramatic rum.
Pretty. It's pretty. I want you to hear the prettiness. It's so good. Hello, Thomas. Hello, Thomas.
Hello.
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 Hello today.
Hello.
Reference.
Hmm?
Is that a reference?
Yeah. Peach Saliva, the streamer internet person
Ah, okay.
Mm. Mm.
engaged to Pat of the Super Castle Beast or something.
Okay.
I'm not familiar.
Speaking of streams, I need to watch Critical Role's new campaign that's just started.
I love their designs.
It looks really fun.
Like, I haven't started it yet. I'm just like, all these characters look amazing.
It's definitely like standalone to the other two, right?
I think so.
Alright.
I don't think you have
Do you
to watch
just-
all the other stuff to enjoy this one.
Right. Do you just watch it through like Twitch VODs or is it like on other?
It does get uploaded to YouTube, and then they also upload their like a podcast version as well.
Okay. Alright. I've never listened. Maybe I should because I've heard they're pretty good.
The campaigns,
Mm.
they're very
Critical Role.
And just like
I watched the whole first one and then like half of the second one before I just got bogged down by work. I want to watch Exandria Unlimited because the voice actress for Shira Adora, isn't it?
Ah.
You licked my nose.
Oh.
All right.
Carrera?
Yeah, Amy Carrero. So, Ulster.
Yes.
With Shu kind of like cramped, but enough to fly, just hovering behind you. Every time I see Basilton, I'm like, shoot.
Excuse me.
You see ahead of you the tunnel diverging into 5 different kind of like sub. Still fairly large, but big enough that you'd be able to fit in. Sorry, but small enough that they fit in the entirety of this cabin. Now, Orstead, from your commune with nature earlier, you would have felt these tunnels. You would have felt that they all have a very unique situation to them. One seems to... How can I describe it? Have a different thing within the ice or beneath the ice, encapsulated in the other. One seems to have splinters of wood or timber, kind of like hewn throughout the. One seems to have some more sort of natural matter, and more like organic, like as if it was once alive. One seems to have mountains encapsulated on each side of the ice wall. One seems pure ice. And the last is harder to read. It seems like it's got magic.
Could I? So when you say one of them has something else within it, what do you mean?
Sorry, each one has something different,
Okay.
like sort of like strewn amongst it. You can sense.
Could I roll an insight check to see which one would maybe appeal to our group the most?
Sure.
Passes the vibe check, Emma.
18.
18. Probably not the one that once had sort of like. It seems like one once had like living sort of like sea creatures or something in it, from sort of like the vibes you got from the commune. Probably wouldn't be advisable considering you guys can't breathe underwater and aren't used to sort of above water combat necessarily. If that was anything was to happen there.
Cass immediately starts casting water breathing.
Do you, Susie?
Yeah, I felt like Cass will start casting. We can talk telepathically, and it can't hurt if we're going in tunnels.
That's fine.
to have water breathing.
You have a stone, a piece of quartz in your pocket, but you already see. You already see Alabek of the Mensej moving towards the mountainous sort of like tunnel. So if you go that way, you'll be following him too.
Also, water breathing lasts 24 hours, so we're golden. So
one is pure ice and one is magic, and I think you would feel either the mountain, the ice, or the magic would be the one best suited to you.
I think if it was a group of purely Messian people, he would go for the ice. But looking around at the group, I think he might signal for the magic one.
Interestingly enough, the Narsha's group goes towards ice, leaving you with magic. So, you guys push through deeper. As you breach this slightly more magical area, the hands that push you begin to become far less fervent. Feeling satisfied, you think, now that you've picked a direction to go. As you sail through here, you begin to hear the sound of something in the distance, like a light song, almost. The ringing of a bell, of glass that's been just slightly tapped and is reverberating through. Would anybody like to investigate, or are you just going to keep?
I think Cass would
Can I just
investigate.
perception check it?
Yeah.
Don't know whether Cass would investigate or Arcana. I think she might go for Arcana if we've gone specifically for the magic tunnel.
Yeah.
Natural 20 for a 29.
12.
29, 12. Okay. Also, what did you choose again?
Perception.
Perception. Ooh. What did you roll?
2.
Ooh.
Oh.
With a 12. As you kind of lose sight of the other groups, Nasha and Alabek kind of nod to you and kiss before they disappear. And there's a certainty that you are alone in this tunnel, which kind of rattles you. And because of that, you're kind of distracted. You can't fully focus on it. It does sound like a beautiful melody. Cass, with your Arcana check, this is definitely magical. That goes without saying. And this voice is singing in a language which
I
you
understand
because you know.
Yeah.
You are going there. In a language
Baby
which you
Joe.
understand. Comprehend languages last an hour?
No.
That is a good point. As we were talking about that, I'm just checking it. Hang on.
I think it is now.
Yeah, it's an hour.
Okay, cool. Then yes. Which you understand. And it seems to be singing a song, the words of which you can't really make out yet. Oh, definitely. Yes. And the words kind of, I was trying to see if I could sing it, but my throat's a little bit like, the words seem to be just repeated. Come and see. What's left of us, come and see.
Ooh, creepy.
Now, as you pull through this tunnel, the room widens into, much like the basin before,
This is the Pan Labyrinth song, isn't it?
a ring. Still water. In the center of it is a icy outcropping that just kind of peeks up. Seated on that outcropping, you see a large figure, roughly 7 foot tall, with their lower half just kind of like dangling in the water. Their skin is covered in an icicle sheen, frosted at the shoulders and the elbows and the wrists. And their hair is long enough that it drifts all the way down. They are beautiful, honestly. Not like anything you've ever seen. The closest you think maybe you've seen to a creature like this would be Ulster. Uh-huh. Though
He's trying
there's
to.
something much more humanoid about it.
With that natural 20 with Arcana, do I gauge a little bit of what type of magic the song is, or do I not get any of that with that?
With natural 20. It is hard to say. The song itself isn't really magical. It's not trying to make you do anything or a spell.
Okay.
So, but it does seem to be amplified using that.
Right.
The magic that's kind of in this area is of is multitudinous. There's almost every kind, every
Right.
school, just kind of like flitting across the ice, kind of in like kinetic sparks. Okay. In these kind of kinetic sparks, that's kind of just like with each like glimmer of ice, as though there's kind of like slight sunlight or moonlight on it, you see a bit of this kind of like magic. But other than that, it's a little hard to say.
Okay.
But there's this figure who is partially submerged in water, skin frosted and shining from dampness. They are wearing a very simple, long dress that also seems to be made of either mist or water itself. And their hair is long and tightly coiled, but it just kind of like drifts into the water as well. And their skin is a honey kind of albino color. And they are sitting there amongst the ice, just looking off to one side, humming their song.
I see where
And
they're
you see-
looking.
They're looking sort of into the water, intermittently up at the wall, just around this room, but not at you directly.
They seem to be aware of us at all?
No,
Okay.
not at this moment. They're just singing that song again. Come and see what's left of us. Come and
Sorry if I missed it. What language was it?
Cass wouldn't know because she can understand everything. But it seems Ulster, from your approximation of it, to be a very close to Sylvan.
Okay.
I will, of course, be translating.
In that case, I'll call out in Sylvan, hello. See if there's any.
She lifts her head and looks down at all of you. And when she does, you notice that her eyes are empty. In their place, ice. And she said, "Ah, you come again." "No, we've not met before."
What do you mean again?
Kind of looks. Then it's as if she's forgotten you there. She broke contact.
What do you mean again?
Nah. I've seen someone. But you are not he.
Can I insight check her to see if she seems to mean roll me?
Yeah.
Oof,
Hey, roll me.
17.
You could make that.
Okay. We are here for the same purpose that I suppose he was.
I don't think that's true. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come together.
Was he alone?
He had help. I'm referring to. And she looks at Luca and just.
What must we do to pass the stage of the trial?
Oh. I don't know. Or I don't think I can tell you.
What's your name?
My name is Rusalka.
Salk. Are you the only one left?
I am not quite living.
Can I nature check her?
Yeah.
Can I assist or
Yes,
roll
please.
a separate one?
Please, assistance. 15. Something's happening with my life.
Kat would assist as well because she's got a right nature. 17.
I think
No.
that you guys will be able to figure out she is or was once humanoid. Her existence now seems to be extended by magical means. Almost as if this very place is kind of what keeps her here and her in this suspended the existence.
Do you want to be here?
I'm the only one left who knows what once was.
Emma, can I get you to speak up? It's
Yes.
hard to hear you because you're speaking very softly.
Sure. I'm the only one left who knows what this place once was.
What was it?
It was a kingdom. It was the beginning of all things. And then it was very cold.
Who did this to you?
He called himself a god, but he was not one that we follow, I believe. And as she says that, she kind of drifts again. and sort of falls back into the silence.
I will turn to the others. Any ideas?
What was the very last thing said? Sorry.
That it was someone that called themselves a god.
They didn't follow him.
But they didn't follow them, and then they drifted back, I think, to being like la la la.
Right.
I think Cass would like ask Brian, like, because obviously this might be history related. Is there anything that like you know about? Do you have any stories of how like things in your country formed and then broke down and then reformed?
It was erased. The only story of the Lachey would be the story of Yeen.
Lucas says, ghosts.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Ghost stories.
Ghost stories.
That was Lucas.
Well, if there's stories, there might be a kernel of truth in them. What was the villain of those stories?
The Lachey.
Sylvanus.
Lucas looks a little bit curious. And as you say Sylvanus, the singing stops. And then Rousseau continues speaking. Yes, that was his name. He kept me here.
Why?
An example.
An example of what?
Or a warning, maybe. What would happen to those who upset the balance? But we did not know what we were doing. We did not know that it was so abhorrent to him.
What did you do?
We built on this land a great kingdom, even greater buildings and greater palaces. But it was so cold, and I'm still so cold. And I would love, perhaps, if you have something, a warm.
My insight check her.
Yeah.
Same.
Same?
Yeah.
18.
Oh, 29.
29.
Hang on. I cannot read what this number is. 19? So on the die, so 29.
Yay. No. 2 29s.
So, with your insight check being so very high, this creature, this person, is incredibly earnest.
Okay.
They seem confused. And they seem to be moving in and out of presence, of consciousness. And I think that you figured that the more that you say or ask, which is related to something they could understand, like Sylvanus, the easier it is for them to remain present.
Okay.
And I think that Lucas, at this point, withdraws the goblet.
Also, what was the request that they made?
To drink.
Drink.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Okay.
sorry. I thought it was
Yeah.
for a warm thing.
You want to give her a drink?
I was given a goblet.
Okay. I'll put my hand over the goblet and create water. And I'll look at Loran to maybe heat it up.
Lauren does. And Lucas stands at the helm of the boat. Cass, Blue, do you row it forward?
Oh, too far. Back.
Babe.
Also keeps a hand on Lucas's belt, I think.
And Lucas steps up 1 foot onto the ice and raises to Rusalka. And Rusalka looks down and says, "You would give this. You who called me the villain of that story, and not Sylvanus." And Lucas just said, "You're cold and you have the means to warm you." And passes over. And it seems that she's too weak to raise her arms. And Lucas presses it up to her leg. And as he does, the frost begins to melt from her shoulder. And that ice, which you see now, her dress is frozen to begins to drip and sweat. And as Rusalka drinks of her fill, she begins to slip into the water, lower and lower until she is level with Lucas standing on the edge of the boat. And there is a flash across the room as magic is throughout. It lights up and dances across the walls with a fervour it never had before. Casts that kind of like electric glint, intensified into colours of green and pink and blue and purple and white. Like a kaleidoscope, and Slia like an aurora, you think. And Ulster, you feel instinctively in your chest, in this moment, a sense of rightness.
Okay.
A rightness which just settles itself and is suddenly overwhelmed when the cavern goes dark. And I need to change the music. Rusalka is slipping into the water, and those hands are kind of like welcoming her down. Suddenly they switch. And instead of helping her in, they start pushing her up. And she struggles and is thrashing. And you hear almost telepathically in your mind, Shu begins to kind of like cringe away from the walls or stare and looks for somewhere to land. And you hear just like a yelp and a splash in the water. And you turn and you see that by one of her wings, she is being pulled into the water below, as well as the unnatural kind of arcane lights that once filled this place are being sweltered by this kind of like darker light.
Okay, also I'll turn to Loran and ask for a spark again.
Okay. Loran casts a little control flame and passes it to you.
Also is going to fan it out at the hands that are grabbing its shoe.
Okay. Also, you will be taking point on this one. I think you've already made that one pretty clear. I feel like this feels right. So, also, as you fan out your hand, what spell are you using, or what ability are you using?
I'm still using a cantrip.
Cantrip?
That's why he needs the round to create the fire.
Sure.
He's using control flames as well.
Okay. With that control flame, you just kind of like steam the surface of the water, and the hands kind of wither back, and they dissipate into condensation and steam. And as you hit the water, you hear like a screaming of pain, which seems to be coming from the droplets themselves as you dissipate these creatures. I need you to make me a wisdom save.
20.
20. You were able to shake, and through the screams, you hear, "That was all I wanted. That was all I wanted." And then the hands kind of pulling up. She was able to pull her wing out of the water, and she begins to fly. But the walls are closing over that gap which you came in through, and you see her beginning to panic. What do you do?
I don't know, Rue. I returned to everyone else.
Everyone else, would you like to do something to assist?
So do we have? Can I
trials?
Can I just try and picture something? So we've got the exit that we came into from is closing. Is it like a cavern, or is there an exit? Or
there is no. I described it earlier as it's a cavern. It's a ring-like room with formerly still water, an ice peak in the middle of it. You have one entrance, and that's closing now. Stu was just grabbed by those hands that are in the water that have been pushing you along this whole time. Obviously, they're still there. But also was able to free her, and she is now panicking because she's running out of space, and also...
is there enough space on the boat for her, or perhaps carpet?
She could, if she could land somewhere, you think there might be for her to be... Well,
wasn't there somewhere where Rusalka was sitting?
Yeah, that was that peak in the middle of the ice.
And is that still up?
That's still up. It lowered slightly. Well, it began to sweat as she kind of fell in, but it's still there.
Okay. I will jump on top of that to make room for Shu.
Okay.
In the boat.
So, Ulster, make me a dexterity check, please. I'll allow acrobatics.
It's going to be the same, so it's just going to be a 14.
Okay. With a 14, you manage to clamber up onto the ice, but you slip down one edge of it, and you have to kind of dig your nails in almost, and you feel your fingernails kind of bend back as you try and get that grip, and you throw up your other hand, you cling onto the ice, and you just kick your toes in. You've lived on the Messiah your whole life. You're not going to be betrayed.
Taken down with
No.
Taken down by a little iceberg.
She begins to kind of like flap, but not quite having the wingspan with all of you guys there. She still begins to tumble into the ice. Does anybody have anything they want to do? Sorry, into the boat.
Blue can help try and like catch her. Well, not like the full thing, but like if several other people are also like stopping her from getting up the boat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a basket of arms.
All of you want to do this.
There's not any. No, it's all ice. There's not going to be any earth, is there, in here?
No, it's all ice, I'm afraid.
No, it's all ice. Don't worry.
Okay. Bluey, do you want to try roll me a strength check? If anyone's assisting, you can go with advantage.
I'll
Leah will
assist.
attempt to assist, yeah.
Yeah, I'll assist.
I love the. That is 22.
22.
Thank you, friends.
You are welcome, friend. Friends.
So, with a 22, as Shu kind of careers into the boat, you're able to sort of like, with the help of your friends, stop her from tipping over the edge, but you notice water is beginning to seep over the sides, like fingers, it's just kind of like creeping in. At which point, Loran taps Shu on the side and just says, "Just for a moment, friend." And you see there's like as Shu shrinks, as Loran gives you the effect of the reduce.
Oh, dang.
She is now considered a small creature.
Aww.
Courage comes out and
peeks up
becomes
because
a
Isaac
like,
Johnson is like,
Uh-huh.
finally!
Okay, no revenge. No revenge.
Okay.
So Emma,
Yes.
does the water still look evil?
Yes, it does.
Can I, before I do this, I want to make an intelligence check that if I shoot lightning into the water to electrify the water, will that in turn cause us issues? Or is that just going to be like zapping the water? I don't want it to like ricochet and get us.
The only person who might be at risk
Is also.
Is Brian. Okay. Yeah. I feel like Cass would be like, get on the boat so I can I think she'd just shout up like, Brian, get on the boat.
He will try and jump
I
out.
think there's probably be enough space now that she's small.
16.
16. Okay. With a 14, 14 was enough to get you on the ice. 16 is enough for you to throw yourself back first onto a wooden boat. You kind of land. Loran does his best to catch you, but it's Sarasa who's able to properly stop you.
As soon as Brian is off the ice, Kath is like, and she's gonna fire witch bolt into the
water.
Into the water, yeah.
Okay, I want you to roll me the damage for that.
Let me just hang on.
Some of these spells are on my.
Okay, and then so it's 1d12, but then after, like on my next turn, I can just automatically do another 1d12 on it.
Cool.
6.
Okay.
Yeah.
You kind of like send that shockwave in, and the fingers kind of like were tearing the edge of the boat, just pull back instinctively, and you hear Rusalka just scream like in pain. And Ulster, in your mind, that kind of sound, with your higher perception and your sort of instinctive like knowledge of Sylvan, Messian, and those more ancient languages, you just hear, "No, please," as if in pain or begging for life.
I'm going to grab Cass's hand, just say, stop.
Okay.
Cass looks for a second like she won't, but then she will.
Can I roll like an intelligence check or something? I don't actually know what to do.
Oh.
I'm like, I don't know. Usually I have ideas. That would be a 16.
Okay. With 16, it seems like this room wants you to harm Rosal. But in that moment where you helped, you were certain that you were doing the thing. Also.
Okay.
So, what do you decide to do to this creature who is left as an example from Sylvanus's destruction of their society. Is up.
She's suffering, isn't she?
Yeah.
I'm gonna cast Dispel Magic on her.
What level?
5th level.
5th level? Okay, and then Slee will get to you after. So, do you touch her? Do you just direct it in her direction?
I'm just seeing what I have to do. So 5th level. DC is 10. Okay, I need to make a check, I think.
Okay.
Natural 20. You can check it.
No, I believe you. I do want to see, they're so fun. Sorry.
He will, I think he'll just graze her fingers.
And she's screaming, clinging onto this ice for dear life. You hold her hand, all stare. And with your spell, what do you say? Do you say anything?
I think I'm going to say it's enough as I touch her.
With that, there's a burst of neutral energy. That bright light is gone. The creeping darkness, those hands, they pull back. And not quite coming from her, but in her voice, you hear that song echoing again around the chamber. And Rusalka says, as if you've never heard her before, in a way you've never heard her before. He says, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want this. We don't deserve this, do we?
I think as she speaks, Ulster will control that flame again to just create a warm kind of circle around. Not close enough to hurt her at all.
This place is of his design. And he hurt us. So how can you trust it?
Sylvanus.
I've been killed so many times. I don't want to die again.
We won't kill you.
But I'm already dead, aren't I?
If Ulster's removed the magic, does she seem to be dying at all?
Yeah. You see her legs below the water as which wither.
I'm going to stop him. All of this. He'll get back on the ice with her, I think. Slowly.
By the time we knew what we had done, it was too late. Please believe that we tried. He said, the only way was to be rid of us. That's what he said.
You can't erase things from nature. He should have brought you in, integrated you, shown you. Otherwise there's no passage forwards. I'm sorry.
Go. And you see in that lifeless arm, she just kind of raises a finger up. And she says, this door only opens in my death. But you know I'm dying now anyway.
The last time.
I choose to open.
Thank you.
And with that, you just see her eyes kind of drift as that eye begins to melt.
I think also will warm the water as he lowers her into it, so she's not taken by like icy depths.
There's a soft smile. And there is a path ahead for you. Slia, what would you?
Can I ritual cast Gentle Repose?
Yeah. You can. What does that look like?
I feel it's like essentially she's weaving this ethereal burial shroud so that like Rusalka cannot be brought back at all.
Very nice.
Very good. As you pass through this other side, leaving Rusalka and her burial, also you look back, and that same instinct brought you knowledge, constitution root. You see just kind of a faint glow returning, magic kind of coming back to this place. And in the patterns of this arcane kind of magic, you see the root. But it, yeah.
Ulster looks upset.
That
but
was
resolved.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And as you pass through, leaving the Constitution and Wisdom trials behind you, I wonder what you've got left.
I really love this concept for trials. I just think
Yeah.
it's so cool.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I'm glad.
Did a great job there, Emma.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I kind of had this. I was Googling like what sort of stuff people do, and it's always like, I don't know, like with a siren, the siren's always bad, and you kill them. Or like there's a monster who's going to lead you into a trap, and then you kill them, and that opens the door.
Yeah.
I was like, but like that's so one-sided, and it kind of fits perfectly here. I think.
Yeah.
I have a bit more of a nuance. But yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Also, we'll also grab Cass's arm on the way out and just say, please don't kill anyone or anything without asking us first.
Or nod.
He'll never.
And with that, we will wrap up for today.
Goodness.
Next week, more dragon game to be had. Until
Same
then,
time,
we
same
end the
bat
recording
channel.
here. Sorry?
Oh, I said same bat time, same bat channel.
Hell yeah. We can end the recording here. Thank you. Wow.
Thank you.